Welcome to Sheen Talk. I'm your host, Kimberly Chapman, and today's guest is Emmanuela P. Rodenberg, and she is a certified relationship and dating specialist and author of How to Attract a Godly Husband. Please help us welcome Emmanuela P. Rodenberg. Welcome to our show. How are you doing today?
Thank you. I am doing fantastic. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, absolutely. You're going to give us so much enlightenment. So, but first I want our audience to know a little bit about you. Tell us some things about you.
Well, I am Emmanuela Rodenberg. I am a dating and relationship coach. I am just in love with the idea of love, but not just love, but really teaching people how to build strong foundational relationships. Relationships that are based on love, trust, things that really help relationships to thrive and last in the long haul. Mm-hmm. I've been a student of relationship for as long as I can remember. I've always been fascinated with it because I've always wanted to know what makes one relationship work and why other relationships fail. I know.
Have you found it out yet?
I'm still searching. But in my search, I have found some key principles that really help people not just find or attract love, but able to keep it. And not just, my philosophy is not just to be in a relationship, not just to be married, but to have a great, thriving relationships.
I understand.
I want to see couples loving and growing together, not just like they're dying together.
And I know what you mean. And you know, normally the first year and a half is so blissful.
They have no idea.
They have no idea. No idea. So because you are an expert, we did a little bit of a social experiment. So tell our viewers about it a little.
Well, I am so excited about our experiment and about our guest today. We were really looking for someone because with Valentine's Day coming, so people are all about love and the stories of love. So we were able to find this young lady. And when I heard her story, I was just so taken back by her story.
Whoa.
And just to give you a little bit of her backstory, she had actually been in a relationship for 6 years.
Whoa.
And which ended about a year and a half ago. So when we talked to her and tell her about the experiment that we were doing and just asking her a few questions, you know, she said something that really, she said she's never been out on a date.
Whoa.
So I said, you were in a relationship for 6 years, but she had never actually been out on a date.
So the 6-year relationship did not entail going on a date?
Apparently not. Wow. So you could actually be in a relationship and never be out on a date, which would baffle me because I'm thinking if you're dating, you are going out on dates.
Yeah.
You are courting me. You are taking me out.
Exactly.
You are giving me a reason to keep seeing you. But so I was so excited when I heard her story. So she's going to come on and tell us about her experience. So I had an opportunity to speak with her and coach her to kind of tell her what she should be doing on a date, what a date is supposed to entail, what a date is supposed to look like. So I'm really excited to have her come on and share her experience with us.
Well, we have Whitney here today with us. Let's bring her out so we can find all about her experience. I'm excited to know. Like,
me too.
This dating game. Hello, beautiful. Good to see you. Thank you. So, Emmanuela?
Yes. So tell us about your experience on this date. Because she actually had the opportunity to go on 2 dates, not just one. So she's making up for lost time. So after 6 years. So not only she got on 1 date, she went on 2 dates in 1 week. So she's doing good.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And so you actually dated this time?
Yes.
How did you like it?
The first one was really fun. It's certain things that I did not like in the date that Miss Emmanuela did give me some pointers on to look for. I'm big on prayer. So one thing he did not do was pray before he ate his meal. But everything else was good. I felt like I was catching up with a high school friend that I have not seen in a long time. We cut up, we ate, we talked to each other. He walked me to my car. He made sure I was in with my seatbelt on before he walked away to get to his car.
Oh, wow, that was nice.
Yeah. So you had a really great. So what was your first impression when you met this young gentleman when he walked in?
I figured when he walked in, I said that was him. And the reason why is because when he walked in, I seen him go like this, which is 2. And it was dinner for 2. And then I heard him say my name, and the guy says, she's over there, and he kind of startled. And I asked Miss Emmanuela, can she check and see what that was for? And then that's when she told me why he did that. And it was because he never knew that he seen a beautiful girl sitting, waiting for him to come for dinner.
Oh,
wasn't that awesome? And the funny thing is, because I actually had an opportunity to meet Whitney before the date. So I met her at the restaurant. So we were talking. So we were kind of sitting at a bench just like this, something very similar. And we were just conversating. And I said, Whitney, if he happens to walk in, just pretend like you don't know who I am. We're just two girlfriends just chatting. And that's exactly what happened. So he walked in and he just kind of walked right towards us. I guess he must have knew, kind of figured it out. Right. So I was just sitting there talking to Whitney, and he walked in and he just kind of introduced himself to Whitney, and they were just talking. So I had a front row seat to actually observe the date front row before he'd even know who I was. So that was a really great.
Oh, wow. And so in you being able to observe, what did you observe from him?
Well, I observed, he came in, he introduced himself and just kind of started having conversation. The conversation flowed really right off the bat. It's like they had known each other before the date. And this was a completely blind date. They didn't know who each other were. They didn't meet before. No, they didn't know what each other looked like. So he walked in, I was like, how did he know? But I had an opportunity to speak with him after the date and just kind of get his feedback. And his first impression was, I said, what did you think of Whitney when you first? He said, I thought she was very beautiful. Very well dressed.
Oh, wow.
Had a great smile.
So that's what I was just noticing.
She does have a beautiful smile.
Thank you.
And just getting his overall feedback on how the date went. And I really had an opportunity to ask him, what was his best part of the date? And he said it was great conversation. Now that's really
awesome.
rare.
Yeah. Because a lot of people don't conversate. They watch their phone.
Exactly.
So how did that work? Did you all have your phones out?
I had mine in my purse, and his phone was on the table. But when his sister called, he turned it off and put it beside him on the chair, and he never picked it up again.
That's amazing. That's great, because a lot of people, you can see people on a date and watching the phone. They might even be watching TV.
I know. That could have been a whole different day while on a date with you. Just on the phone.
Yes. So you went on 2 dates.
Yes.
How was the second one?
The second one was very interesting.
That's a word.
Oh my goodness. What made it interesting?
It just wasn't clicking. It wasn't any communication really. It wasn't I can't think of the word. It was no chemistry there.
I got you.
And so I went on my way, he went on his way, and that was it.
Oh, so did you have dinner?
Oh,
lunch?
we had dinner, and the dinner was okay. It was fine. And then I was just ready to go after maybe 20 minutes.
Wow.
Because it was just too
that
much.
Bad.
Now, he stayed in his phone majority of the time.
He stayed on it or just
No,
watching it?
watching it.
Wow.
Yes, and he stayed turned to the TV majority of the time. After, when the food came, he turned, we was communicating, we was talking a little bit, but then when dinner was over, instead of communicating with me, he turned around and watched the basketball game. So I just watched the basketball game because my favorite team was playing. So.
Oh my gosh.
So Whitney, can you just share with the audience your experience? Because prior to you going out on 2 different dates with 2 different gentlemen, we had the opportunity to sit down and kind of went through the coaching process, because you've really never been out on an official date. So we had an opportunity to talk. So how was your experience with the coaching before the dates?
The coaching helped me tremendously on the dates. I was able to incorporate that in both dates to see what is needed when dating a guy, because I've never been on a date in my life. And so you did great with giving me tips on how to look for what you like in a guy and what you don't like in a guy, and how to incorporate that as far as dating them, and so much of maybe one day marrying them.
Wow. You learned a lot. You're a good student. Awesome. That is fantastic. And you were able to get the information and had an opportunity to apply it almost immediately.
Yes.
So you had a great experience. Your first date went really well. You had great conversation. So you're probably wondering, well, what did he think about me?
Right.
How did he feel about the date? Because you thought it went fantastic, that it went really well.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I did have an opportunity to talk with your first date. should I mention his name or not? Probably not, right? But I did have an opportunity to talk with a gentleman after the date, and he was really happy about having an opportunity to go on a date with you. He thought you were very beautiful.
That's great.
I know, isn't that beautiful? That is normally you go on a blind date not knowing who to expect, what to expect. And his first words was, she looked very beautiful. She was dressed really nice, which I always reiterate when I tell women, when you go on a date, make sure you look good. Make sure you look good. Take the time to look good for the person that you're going to be spending time with. Show that you care about yourself and you care about the person as well. So that's one thing I always tell ladies. And that was one of the reasons I made sure that I met with Whitney before, because not only I wanted to coach you, but I also wanted to see how you presented yourself, because you never get an opportunity to make a first impression. And people are always, well, he has to like me how I am. No, he does not. You do have to take time to look your best to show that you really care about your appearance. So that was really key. So she passed that with flying colors, and then, which was really good. And then they had great conversation. And after the date, the gentleman said, great conversation. He thought you were beautiful, and that his favorite part of the date was the conversation that you guys had, which was like, wow, amazing.
That's great.
Like, some people want to have conversation these days, because sometimes, like you said earlier, it's on the phone and text messaging, but to actually have a good face-to-face dialogue is really, really key. So that was, he said, great conversation. And I also asked him, I asked him to rate the date on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the best. And he actually says 7.5, 8. And of course, my follow-up question was, well, how can we get this date to be a 10? So he said, only thing would have made it better if he was less nervous in the beginning.
Oh, gotcha.
So I thought that was like, wow. So he instantly took ownership of that. What could he have done to make the date better? He said, had he been less nervous in the beginning, kind of loosened up a little bit, that would have made the date a 10. So I was like...
And you know, I do believe that we have footage, right?
Well, this is and then from the second gentleman that you went out with, we have footage from that.
Okay.
I think Whitney shared earlier her experience on that second day, where she didn't feel there was too much chemistry in that second day, but it was also an experience for her as well. So we have footage from the second day, so we can show that.
My first impression of Whitney was that she was kind of shy at first, I think she's someone that has to warm up people to kind of get out of her mold, but as the night progressed, she opened up a little bit more, and I got to know her a little bit better. So my first impression, I'll say she was somewhat shy.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Wow. So how did you feel? This was your first time actually seeing the footage of what he had to say. So what did you think about what he had to say about you in the dates?
Shy, maybe not, because when he walked in behind me.
Okay.
So I didn't know it was him. He barely wanted to shake my hand. So I was like, okay. And then he sat down, and I mean, we talked, but I felt like I was trying to pull a conversation out of him. So I'm kind of iffy on what he said, but that's his opinion. Everybody has their own.
That's true.
That's true. But that's awesome. But he said he also had a great time with you, which is he thought you came across a little shy. But overall, he had a good time with you, great conversation. So did you guys have any chemistry? What do you think went wrong?
I don't think there was any chemistry there, but on his end, maybe. But my end, no.
Oh, well, she said it. Well, this was a great experiment. We're going to have to do this more. And then, would you go back on a date with number 1?
Yes, I would do that again. Okay. That was fun.
So we might have a love match, because I also asked him, would he be open to going out on a date with me again? He said, absolutely.
I like it. Yeah, love connection.
Love connection.
Sheen talk love connection. All right.
That is fabulous.
Yes.
I'm glad. So was this a good experience for you overall?
Yes, because I've never been on a date, so this was, for me, be able to, if I ever went on a date again, that I could use your expertise and your thoughts on how I should do dating. That way I can be able to say, okay, well, he's not doing this. Nope. First impression is always the best impression.
Ooh, she's a good listener.
Yeah, she is.
That's awesome.
awesome.
Oh my gosh. Well, we will have more on our dating experiment. So please stay tuned because we got more with Emmanuela and just trying to make Sheen love connections. We have had this beautiful experiment, this dating experiment, and Miss Emmanuela Rodenberg has a tremendous amount of knowledge on how to attract a godly husband. So you can find her book on the website. Tell me where else you can find it.
It's on Amazon.com. It's also at Barnes & Noble. So different places that you can find the book. And the title is How to Attract a Godly Husband. And I was very intentional about the title because the Bible said he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor. So it's not about how to find a husband, but ladies, it's just positioning yourself and you will attract the right guy.
Oh my gosh, that's another episode of Sheen Talk, how to position yourself.
Ooh, yeah.
That said a lot right there, believe it or not. But anyway, make sure you pick up your book today, How to Attract a Godly Husband by Emmanuela Rodenberg. Have a great day.